Okay, hi folks. I hope you all can hear me and the sound check would be welcome. Well, okay, got a few folks in the house here. Kyle, Stig, good. You're staying up late tonight, huh? And Blue, and I gotta adjust my sound down.
Kyle,
Oops, sorry, folks. Yep, I got a new setup tonight and got a lot of new buttons to press. So I hope everything's going to work out copacetically. Craig always cautions me about doing all the new stuff, and I always get myself in trouble. So hopefully not so much. Okay, sound is great, and yes, Stig is up late, and the old world is a midnight. Okay. And Blue is wearing his winter from Little Treasury. And you probably should get a spring because it's coming up pretty shortly. So you might want to look into that. So very cool. And Carlos, hey, hi. So tonight I'm going to talk a bit about Grand Seiko. Just a portion of the new the novelties that were announced yesterday, and I'll follow up in some later shows with more detail on the rest of the collection that was shown. And I'm sure there's a lot more to come during the year. This was sort of the first shot from Grand Seiko and Seiko as well. So a couple days ago, before this announcement event, which was online, by the way, the Seiko and Grand Seiko Summit, very interestingly coordinated and choreographed as an online event with a lot of security about getting in, whatever. And so what happened a couple days before, this is very typical of Seiko, and I'm going to use a little setup that I haven't used before just to show you what's going on. And let me try to make that work. I'm going to cut over to my phone used as a camera, and so I can show you something else. And of course that didn't work. Let's see. Let's get you to, oh, here we go. So I'm using my phone, and hopefully you can hear me well. A couple days ago in the office, this box showed up, and it's pretty, as you see by my hand, pretty good size. And addressed to me. Grand Seiko burned into it on the surface, and a little floral arrangement. I'm sure some of you know what this flower setup is, on a little elastic band. And I sort of tore through this. I don't think this is going to be pristine, but it's very cool. So in the box, wrapped nicely, I might add, was a little container, and in here this is a set of very special slippers. Here we have a lot of Japanese, and for me to relax while watching the show. And we also had a box of incense. I'm going to do this one-handed without spilling the beans are all over the place. So these beautiful little capsules of incense, different flavors for the different collections. So there's a sport collection, heritage collection, elegance collection of different scents, and a couple of other things in the box. But I thought it was very cool and thoughtful, typical of the Grand Seiko folks. And then something you'll all be jealous of. Let me cut back to my other camera. And what did I do with it? Okay, here you go. So let me get back in the scene. Sorry about that. Okay, so a beautiful little mask, Grand Seiko mask with the emblem on it, and over here. So I can walk around the store advertising Grand Seiko. So I thought that was sort of cool. So anyway, back to the chat. Blue would now like a spring 413. Give you a super deal. Hard to give a deal on those right now. They are always pre-sold. I can get you on the list. I can get you a nice position on the list if you like, and see what happens. It probably will not have another spring in for a couple of weeks. We just got 3 in, and they went right out the door, pre-owned. So, okay. Stig, I appreciate the comment. I am stepping up my game. Kyle, anticipating the discussion, loving the new watches, and Grand Seiko provides better boxes for the slippers and incense than they do for their watches. What's up with that? Okay, well, this is Crashtian, who I haven't met before. Hi. That may be true, but there's also a trend toward scaling down boxes a bit, and that's a good idea because some of these things are crazy. And if you are a watch collector and you have these huge boxes for every watch you own, it just it gets a little crazy. So I personally think it's fine. Okay, and Stig, our channel Viking, that's great. And Craig's over the mask thing. Okay, well, you stay up in your compound and don't wear your mask. And Dave Williams, same. And oh boy, we're getting into the mask business. Shouldn't have brought it up, guys. Sorry about that. So, okay, I mentioned that I have a lot of buttons to press that I may not be the best at. I'm going to try to up my game, as someone said. And so here we go. Let's see if I can get this going. And I think I can. So, and cut. Okay, so this, I think the main feature of the new Grand Seiko announcement was the announcement of the and I don't have any examples in flesh. Even our rep who was in yesterday hadn't seen them in person. So this is going to be, as part of the presentation, is going to be stock photos. Anyhow, you all know that last year we had the Four Seasons. Actually, a year before last, they were introduced. And very successful series, spring, summer, fall, and winter. The spring, which had a pinkish cast to it, very popular, and is second only to the snowflake. And the winter gray dialed version, which these are not what I'm talking about on the picture here. Also in the top 5 in the past year. And so we had 2 spring drives in titanium last year and 2 high beats in stainless steel. So the spring and summer titanium spring drives, and fall and winter high beat in stainless steel. All 4 selling for $6,300 each. And that was that. So probably in the course of our various discussions, we mentioned that Japanese consider the seasons to be broken into 4 sub-seasons, 6 sub-seasons for each of the 4 seasons we recognize, and so 24 evenly spaced seasons. So we've had 4 of the initial seasons watches, and now we have another 4 that were announced yesterday, and so plenty to go. So we have 8, and we have a bunch more that they can fill in over in subsequent years, and I'm sure they will. So this is the collection, and I'll go through them one by one, and keep an eye on the comments here. And I'm getting behind. Okay. Hello, Carlos. Sound is great. Okay. All right. Okay, I think we're still Oh, yeah. Okay. Craig is asking about the case designs and whatever, how thick. I'll get into all that. And Craig is having heavy pockets full of Bitcoin. Yes, Craig, what about that? You're telling me you need a new computer, you need a this or that. Just take a fraction of one of those Bitcoins and get yourself a decent MacBook and up your game too. Okay, so let me try to get over to what's going on with these pieces. So the first piece that we will talk about is the in the spring collection, the new spring collection, and that is a high beat, and it is called the Shunbun, Shunbun, and it is got a beautiful green dial, and these are 40 millimeters by 11.7 for these high beats. So they're GMTs, all four of them in the collection this year are GMTs. All four are steel, there's no titanium. And so the first two, spring and summer, are going to be the high beats, which is just the opposite of last year when they were spring drive. So they're sort of having fun with this mixing and matching. So these, both this spring and the summer, which I'll show you shortly, have the 9S86 high beat movement, 55-hour power reserve, and water resistance just 30 meters. And it looks like not a screw down crown on these. So that's sort of interesting fact. And let's catch up with the commentary. Stig, I have seen on your website at Grand Seiko SBPC 238 that costs $44,300. It makes my knees go weak. Well, does it open your wallet is the question. I can put that on the show. Maybe I'll get you a little more stimulated and see what happens with that. And Craig's crying the blues. Bitcoin is down today. And sometimes Carlos misses living in a place with seasons. He only has summer without rain. But you do a lot of traveling, so you get out there in the other climates for sure. And best styles in the industry, says Matt Malloy, and I think we have to agree. Hey, Tom, and Tom Austin. And are they sharing a case design with any current pieces? I am not sure. I don't think so. That's a great question. I will follow up on that and let you know. Okay. And Craig likes the rounded case looks, and it looks like it would drape over the wrist nicely. They look somewhat like the blue snowflake, and I'll have to check that out to see if they are. And actually, that's an interesting point that Craig makes. It's actually, I like some of the cases with more angular and not so much the rounded. So Craig and I don't agree on everything, it looks like. So that's fine too. So, okay. And Kyle likes the high beats better than the spring drive dials. Okay, so and no screw down. I have to verify that. And again, I've only read the documentation, and the spring drives do specify that they are screw down crowns, and I didn't see that in the high beats. And the fact that the high beats are rated at 30 meters, the summer and rather winter and fall are rated at 100 meters, so it makes me think that they do indeed have a difference there. Okay, and okay, and let's see. So let's sort of cruise along with these. So that is that one. Let me see if I can get a nice transition to the next photo. This is a close-up of the texture of the dial on the Shunbun model. And a beautiful green, sort of a carpety type look. If you read their description on the website, of course, it's a very romantic description of springtime, seeing the emergence of vegetation, et cetera, et cetera. So honoring the environment and nature again, which is the Grand Seiko thing. So, but very pretty, and I favor a green watch myself. My Grand Seiko that I own, SBGE 033, beautiful earlier spring drive GMT as well, but looks quite different from this one and smaller. So, okay. So these go, the high beats, both of them go for 6,800. Last year, all four high beats and spring drives were 6,300. So it's been a price increase, not a crazy one, but it is somewhat more. And of course, adding the spring drive complication probably accounts for that that difference. So that is that one. Now I will move over to the SBGJ 429, which is the summer, which represents the rippling of water in the soft summer breeze, which is typical of this show micro season that it represents. Okay, so a lot of texture on this guy, and light blue. It's got sort of a compelling mixture there. I think that'll be one of the top sellers based on reactions, say, to the blue snowflake and whatever. So back to the discussion, and okay. Do I prefer the winter Grand Seiko or spring dial? And blue, I think you're talking about last year's these rather than these. I haven't really formulated my final opinion. I want to see the watches. I kind of, excuse me, favor the winter in the gray dial. I sold one to a customer in Finland, and he sent me a picture back, and maybe he's watching, I don't know, it's probably a little late for him, and he sent me a picture holding up the watch against the drab winter sky with little cloud structures, and it was a perfect match. It was beautiful. So I like that more muted look myself. I think the spring is spectacular, and certainly most people seem to be liking it a little bit more in terms of volume of sales. So everybody has their own taste, but I prefer the winter slightly over that. Okay, let's catch up with you guys. A lot of comments tonight. And so Craig is, okay. Tom Austin, 30 meter water resistance isn't fantastic. I would agree. 100 meter should be on all these models. Not sure why that is. Again, these are early specs picked up from the documentation that was probably prepared in haste. We're going to verify all this, and if I hear differently, I'll certainly report that. And Craig is asking, how thick are the spring drive models? So I'll jump to that a bit and talk about that. So these high beats are 40 by even 40 by 11.7. And the spring drives, interestingly, are 40.2, so a little bigger, by 14 millimeters. So they're thicker. Okay, so and I need to verify that number, but that's what I think I was picking up. So they're a little different. The high beats are slightly smaller in diameter. Okay, and as we talked before, spring drives that are rated at 100 meters and do have the screw down crown. So let's go back to the watches, and let's pick up another one view of this piece, SBGJ 249, and really nice texturing on that, sort of picking up that horizontal look of the ripples on over waves. So really a very nice representation of that natural phenomenon. Pretty good job, I think. What do you guys think? Okay. All right. Carlos, spring drive is like removing half of the soul to a watch. Prefer the high beat too. Well, at least you're preferring something about Grand Seiko finally, Carlos. Maybe we'll get one on your wrist one of these days. So, and Carl Borchers, again, new to me person, hi. And he prefers the fall model. And again, not clear if you're talking about the prior seasons or the current one. We haven't gotten to the current one yet. And okay, and Carlos bringing the soul argument to the table. Carlos is a soulful fellow indeed. Okay, and all right. Craig, Carlos, once you've owned a spring drive, you will never go back to a standard auto. Okay, and Christian, spring drives have soul. They have the soul of an engineer who worked on it for 28 years and passed away just as his dream was realized. That's a poignant remark. A good observation. And okay, and blues with Craig on that. So, and Carl Borchers, since the value of the dollar has dropped 20% due to the money supply expansion, a $500 price increase is rather generous of GS. Okay, that's nice. Okay, and Kyle really wants a spring drive. Well, Kyle, you need to call me. I can help you with that problem. And, okay. Tom says, nice to have extra water resistance with an expensive piece just in case I fall into my 18-karat gold jacuzzi with CraigShipp. All right. Okay. All right. I think I'm caught up a bit. Let's forge ahead here. We'll be here all night. So anyhow, be curious what you folks think about the summer show, SHO, SBGJ 249, and now we are getting into the fall version, which is called Kanro, Kanro, and it is, again, it's SBGJ 271, and it is a pretty moody piece, and it represents sort of that crisping up. Well, the picture says it all. The clouds in the sky under a autumn moon, and that appeals to me quite a bit. I guess it's in line with my preference for the winter and the earlier group of seasons watches. And I will give you another picture of that maybe gives you another sense of what that's like. And that's not showing me enough of the texture, but I've seen other lifestyle photos of that, and I think it's going to be pretty spectacular myself. So again, interested always in your opinions. And oh wow, Carlos is waxing philosophical. Craig, I am a sentimentalist, I guess. I prefer something imperfect that reminds me of limitations of the human being. Okay, there you are. And Derek is asking me if I got any gold watches in stock. Yeah, I have a pretty good selection of gold watches. Derek, I think you need to give me a call. We can run through them. We can set up some kind of video thing. I can show them to you. and including a couple of Grand Seikos, but also in my other brands. So, okay, let's forge ahead to the final one, SBGE 269. And this is another beautiful piece. This is reminiscent, the dial texture, something, and I forget the exact reference number, but called the Blizzard dial. And it's got sort of snow, but more dynamic than, say, the snow on the Snowflake, which is more like a arresting snow with nothing, no movement going on. Okay, and this is called the Toji, T-O-J-I. Okay, and both of the fall and winter models, the spring drives, are $6,000. So there's been a price reduction, essentially, from last year, the prior models, and they are now 6,000 versus 6,300, and the high beat is now 6,800 versus the 6,300 prior. So they've differentiated them, and probably the equal price last time had to do with the titanium of the spring drives, which sort of balanced out for the premium pricing on the high beat movement. So that is pretty much it of the Seasons watches. So let's see what you guys are saying here. Living large in Hong Kong, Tom Austin. Oh, Tom, you're in Hong Kong living? And instead of an apartment, David Williams and Craig Carlos, the spring drive isn't perfect, close but not perfect. For that, you need the 9F. Okay, there you are, the quartz. And okay. Craig mentions the 14 millimeter. I may be off on that. And I'm going to double check that, but I don't have access. I'm sure someone can Google it on the Grand Seiko website. Appreciate it if someone did. So threw together some of my notes here, and a little bit of a rush. And so Tom, this is a good point. Tom says, I thought the new spring drive movement was thinner, and the new spring drive movement is not in these pieces. So it is in the more premium SLGH 005, which I've talked about briefly earlier. This piece, which was the first announced piece for the current year, Grand Seiko, just a couple of weeks ago, or less than a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week ago. And it's the Birch Forest version, and it is in the $9,000 plus price range, reflecting the movement, and the new Series 9 case that this is encased in. And so that new movement is the 9SA5, and it'll be in premium pieces, probably not in the $6,000 range. It may eventually migrate into the lower tiers, but I think in the current period, not. Okay, so that is that one. And okay, and Trashy Larry comes aboard. Hi, how are you? And Carlos, Derek, I've heard that Craig is getting a nice day date with his big gains from Bitcoin. I think you should consider diamonds too. I found myself as our friend Triforce Rich. Okay, and I think that Craig is in good shape right now. He just should not hang on to every bit of that gain. Maybe he needs to cash out a bit and live it up a bit, Craig. Come on. Okay. And Dave Williams observes the 2 spring drive versions in green or white for $5,000 a strap were less than 14. Yeah, I think I made a mistake. So please, someone Google it up during the show here. And Carlos is feeling hurt that Trashy didn't greet him. Trashy, please greet Carlos. And has anyone seen Pelosi's dentures? Now let's not, this is a politics-free show here, Trashy. And do we have a picture of the clasp on these pieces? I haven't seen them, so no. And as soon as we get a prototype or get more photography, I'll bring it on one of my shows, and we can talk about that. Craig, I've already declared the 14 millimeters is a misprint. It's my mistranscription. I don't think if you go on their website and someone can just do that and let us know. And many people are still waiting on a smaller Grand Seiko spring drive diver. It's true. And not ideal for the Bram when the smallest diver is still around 44 millimeters. And so we have a guest, Pelosi's dentures. Keep your mouth shut. Okay. And Britt's here. Hi. And encouraging me to continue. Yeah, I can probably do one a week, just given the schedule. And Dave thinks the white dial looks good, would be better with a dark green or navy blue GMT hand. Okay, you can see the customizing person. Maybe they can take care of that. And Tom observes that Craig had a new drinking glass, and long overdue. I have to get a drinking glass. I'm getting a little dry myself, but I'm always thinking if I put the glass here, I'm going to immediately knock it over into my Atom Mini Pro, and the show will go down the tube. And it must be something in that Frederick County water. And there's American flag glass. What happened with that, Craig? And Crashtian is in line for the white birch as the local ID. And when is the date purchase? Asked Derek Chelly of Craig. And there you are, blue. Live it up, Craig. Buy more watches or faux pays from Steve. Maybe some faux pay giveaways to the Wrench Gang. Craig, I highly recommend it. And you have gone up so much in your Bitcoin. I think it's very appropriate. And Craig gets silent. Day dates for the Wrench Gang, courtesy of Craig. And Kyle was hoping the Snowflake would be shrunk down to the size of the 261 that he has. Okay. And Kyle asks if we can order GS hats from you. Just had the discussion yesterday with my rep. No hats. They're crying poor. It's the end of their fiscal year, end of March, and they've exhausted their goodies bucket and promising to renew it in their first quarter. I will keep you posted. So you can't order the hats from me. It comes with gift with purchase. Okay, and but I have none. Haven't had them for 6 months. And Tom asks Kyle, is the GS getting any wrist time since the arrival of the sub? And Jaden Volchoff says hi to everyone. Hi, Jaden. And again, a new person for me. And Kyle still loves his 261. It's more comfortable than the sub. Well, you can get rid of that sub. You can trade it in here at Little Treasury toward your next Grand Seiko, and I can help you with that. Okay, so let me forge ahead a bit. We are eating up the evening here, and I've got a couple of other non-Grand Seiko things just to show you quickly, things that are new to the store and of interest. I think I'm going to sort of add this at the end of every topical show and talk about things that have come in recently. So let's see if we can get this up. Okay, this is from Oris, and it is it's the Oris Whale Shark limited edition to help fund a program to save the whale shark, which is apparently endangered. And with my lighting, I'm not sure you see this well, but a really interestingly textured dial. And people seem to be getting, other brands seem to be getting into the textured business. And Oris has done a really nice job with this. It's sort of a bluish green, and the texture really looks like the hide of a whale or some kind of a sea creature like that. And very interesting piece built on the Aquas series. And I don't have the exact dimensions on it. It's probably 43.5 millimeters is my guess. But don't take that to the bank. That is a limited edition of 2018 pieces. I don't know what that represents. It's rated at 300 meters, and it is for sale for $3,250, $3,250. So a pretty nice piece. And Dave, I didn't have time to transcribe the dimensions of the whale shark, but I'm quite sure it's 43.5 diameter. Thickness looks like it's not too bad. That's probably the 14 that I had on the Grand Seiko, 14 plus, but not outrageous. It's pretty trim, to quote our friend Craig. As you can see, proportionally very trim. And nice buckle setup. And on the back, a really great raised representation. Again, I'm not really too good at showing the backs of these watches, but maybe you can see it, maybe you can't, of the whale shark swimming in the ocean. And I know it's not in focus. I'm going to catch hell from Craig. So let's try it a little bit better. No, not getting easily. So we'll just have to skip it for the moment. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. So anyhow, that is the Oris Whale Shark. Just came in, and nice piece. We like it. And a couple of weeks ago, I was going to show you a piece. I ended up showing it to you only in a promotional flyer that I had, because we had gotten it in. It's a Breitling, and it a limited edition that we just got in, and it sold immediately. The first person we showed it to, and I had it all scheduled for our show. So we were fortunate enough to get another piece. These are pretty scarce. This is a Super Ocean Heritage limited edition. It's got an 18-karat gold bezel, stainless steel otherwise. That's very cool rubber strap that they have that sort of looks like a Milanese bracelet, but it's rubber, and excellent piece. The dial is gray, and the subdials are black. It's a really nice, subtle contrast. A pretty elegant piece. Again, don't ask me the dimensions. I can follow up later. So, okay. And let's see. I will just give you one final piece and move over to that. Let's get this guy queued up. I really like this watch, and it is part of, well, the light is not great on it. So this is a Prospex LX. We're about 6 months into our Prospex LX dealership. It actually goes to a subset of the Prospex or the Seiko Lux dealers, and it's just a handful of people of stores that carry them. And I had not carried this piece prior to getting it in just a little bit ago. It's the SNR 043, and it's got what they call a platinum dial. I'm sure it's not made out of platinum. A Cermet, ceramic and metal bezel, and it's not specified, but I'm quite sure this is a DLC case, a finish on the case over titanium. But it's got just a silky, cool feel to it. It's got this a really nice silicone strap. It's excellent. So as with all the LXs, this is a spring drive. It's titanium. They are priced accordingly. This particular piece is $6,500. They range from $5,000 to $6,500. There's about 8 or 9 pieces in the collection right now, and we've had most of them. I think there's one more that we need to bring in that we haven't had before. So anyway, this is new to us. I think they're about done. It's a limited edition, I think, of 200 pieces or some very small number. And excellent if you're looking for a very robust and fine dive watch type thing to add to your collection. I personally really think this is very special. So, okay. And there goes Brian, nice dimensions. Okay, so Kyle mentions Chris. Chris is one of our associates who is doing very interesting, helpful, and very amusing produced videos on YouTube on the Little Treasury channel. And he really gets into all of the dimensions, and I'm sure they're accurate. He spends a lot of time preparing these, and probably everything I've talked about will end up in one of his videos. He does at least one a week, and well worth looking at. And okay, going to skip the dentures, and Michael Kiko retracted his thing. What about SBGD 207? Is that one of the new ones, Michael? Is that one of the high-end things? And okay, Carlos has jumped over to a topic for another day. The rest of the Seiko Novelties, and one of the novelties is another revision of the Prospex Alpinist, and they're looking very nice. And there is a special edition. It looks very, very nice, limited edition. And I will, when we get, we don't have our hands on the good images yet for those, so that'll probably be an upcoming show, basically on the Seiko collections, Presage and Prospex, and Astron, by the way, which is doing very nicely as well. So those are the three main branches of the Seiko lines that we carry. Okay, so, and Clive Wrangler joins us. We are close to wrapping up, and oh, that's fake Clive. Okay, says Carlos. I don't know this story, so if there's no further discussion, I gave it all I had, and we will carry on and go to dinner and do whatever we have to do, and probably catch you again one day next week, and hopefully you can join us. So enjoyed this, and a lot of chat, which is always good. So let me see if I can get out of here gracefully, and I am working on it. Okay, there I go. Okay, wait, Steve. Oh, Derek. Wait. Enjoy my meal. Not sure if it's ready yet, but I'm going to